Alright, so recently I put up a poll on the channel asking if you guys are happy with the state of the game right now. And if not, comment improvements you'd like to see, and I'll also throw in my thoughts later in the video. And the three options were yes, with a 32%, somewhat with 44%, and no, with 24%. So you can kind of say it's split down the middle because you have a third that are happy, you have close to a third that are not happy, and then the majority of people are somewhat okay with the state of the game right now. And so we have a few comments we'll go through, start from the oldest ones and go through my replies, and then in the game I'll hop in and talk about some stuff. Most of you guys watching aren't subscribed, so I would really appreciate it if you could help me reach 2,000 subscribers. And if you're not in my Discord, come join. You can talk to me. Anyway, let's actually start. Compared to the beginning, it has come a long way. Now if they can improve QOL, I think it can be even better. I do agree there's some QOL stuff missing, which means quality of life. And I mean, version 1.0 to version 1.6 is basically a completely different thing. So I asked him what else he thinks would be quality of life. He didn't answer, which is fine. And then someone said they don't like Sector 7, the golem just does the rock. So we've had a few days now of playing Sector 7, and you understand how to get around the healing, but it's still kind of dumb because the whole thing is RNG, but we'll go over that later. It's almost like the hard part of the hard endgame content was meant to be hard. So this is my guildmate, so, we're in a pretty good guild. And again, I'll talk about the Sector 7 in a little bit, but I also get this part, right? So Sector 7 and 8, they have this mark over here. It says hard, both 7 and 8. So, I understand it's making it harder than the first 6 sectors. But Steve says, I'm very happy with the state or progress they've made since launch. I'm also very happy. I'm not going to dog on them too much. I'll go over some specific things that they need to change, and you guys can comment and let me know if you agree or disagree. I was disappointed to see how little improvements they made between the last CBT and launch. This, I honestly didn't play the closed beta, so I can't say too much, but you had such a long time to develop this game that the launch was pretty underwhelming. Like 90% of your players left, so arguably better than 1.0. Already, especially with the pet expedition, this was such a big change. Like with this, it probably stopped 30 to 40% of people that would normally quit from quitting because it just got too much resources that you have to go and farm for crafting. And then this person left a lengthy comment about giving us more SR characters, kind of like other gacha games where they have 4 stars alongside the 5 stars. Think Genshin. And then this is a problem. In Sector 7, your ultimate for Elizabeth should be giving you reaction immunity, but it doesn't. So the golems can still stun you, which is either let us know beforehand that that ability doesn't work, or actually fix Elizabeth's ability that the stun immunity actually works. But he's also not complaining, but giving us some feedback about how he doesn't like the time limits. So yeah, I mean, Daisy's everywhere for now, but as we have more units, I'm sure we'll see that. I said, I agree, Gino. We need SR characters, just at least minor characters from the anime. So like the Weird Fangs, Twigo, Demon Hendrickson, those kind of characters I think would be fun for SRs. And Elizabeth's ultimate is supposed to be immunity, but the golems don't follow that. But I said, at least until 2.0, if they revamp the game, I don't see any SR characters happening. Most likely we're not going to see SR characters, unfortunately, but that's what it is. But this person was talking about more of a roguelike mode, or like a very continuous mode where you can just keep playing, and try hard mode for the difficulty, but amount of variety and damage would have to sustain. Not to mention it could slightly have some raid mechanics where you do it with 5 players. I don't think this would be a bad mode. Kind of like zombies, you would have the abyss creatures, but we have guild bosses and stuff coming, so he was asking for more weekly content. I was happy until the new sector, yep. And then not much complaints, but stuff about the ores, yeah, this is already bugged with the pet expedition. Even if you select all of the ores, you don't get them. So you have to go and actually go farm them. Getting absolutely nothing. Retry button, yeah. We'll talk about the gear in specific in a bit, and the enchants. This is DB. As you can see, we're subscribed. Obviously, he and I make kind of like similar content, basically the same stuff, but he said bored out of my mind. I mean, outside of like farming and raid and time space junction, you don't really have much to do, to be honest. So I can kind of get that. There's not much to do when you've done everything and just saving keys. Yeah, that's what I do. I save all my keys. Let's say you play wind and can do 2 stages. But yeah, also like the events are bad. I think the story's okay, but like, is it really that much more expensive to have this voice acted? I would be much more likely to sit through the event if it was voice acted. And then too much RNG on time space junction 7. game has come a long way with quality of life and other features. What bothers me is the new testing features before. Yeah, this is a problem. Like, I don't know if Netmarble doesn't do play testing before they release updates, because how are you going to reset food with the buffs, right? That's one thing. And then the RNG is very unsustainable on Time Space Junction 7. And then other than that, I'm really enjoying the game. Just hope they focus on testing before releasing as many. Yeah, there's always like bugs with new updates, but I do like the fact that they do buff new characters. This is my opinion. As long as there aren't nerfs to old units or nerfs to units, old units will be viable through the buffs. Made a lot of improvement, but some RNG stuff will need to improve. Blue Potion, yeah, this is also a complaint of mine. It's the 60% or 67% is such a gut punch. It should have been 70%, so you would have 5% instead of 2%. And then also Master Tailor Scissors, I think. I'll talk about that as well. And then Sector 7 is the RNG complaint. So I think a lot of the stuff we read here is fair. So let me go into the game and show you stuff that I would like to see improved. All right, first, I'm not going to take too much time on this because, again, we already know what the issues are. Time Space 7, I think they're going to do some adjustments to this. I highly doubt that they're going to nerf the golems, but I think they're going to do something with the crystal pattern, or maybe they're going to remove the healing. Not exactly sure. We still have like a month and a half until this goes away, and then the leaderboard I think has 3 weeks left. Let's go see. Well, actually, the leaderboard only has a week left, so you can see I got top 10%. That's good enough for me. Otherwise, I have to go all the way to top 200 just for 2 laurels. It's not worth it. If I need to, I'll probably get a quicker time, but as of right now, I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, the only problem is that because the crystals are RNG, right, you don't have a way to guaranteed spawn them or target them. You have to bring them over. Sometimes they destroy their own crystals, which works out, but doesn't work out. Like, the only reason that you see times like these for the leaderboard, right, 12 minutes, not 12 minutes, 12 seconds, is because of RNG, right? You have to get the purple one to spawn, and you have to get the orange one to spawn, and then you can basically 2-tap with Meliodas' normal skill. So, like, you could try hundreds of times and still not get lucky enough to get a 12-second. Of course, Zach is obviously skilled, but that doesn't change the fact that there's RNG. Look at this. Gallon's leaderboard's so much tighter in terms of time because there's way less RNG. The only thing you're really factoring is magic gauge. If you can get 4 magic gauge, which again is RNG on your gear and weapons, then you can one-shot it without using your ability. That's how Andre did it. But here, again, you can see 1 second difference, 1 second difference, 1 second, 2 seconds. That's when you realize it's just RNG. Like, I can already bet you, I think it's Hendrickson, right? The next fight. It's not going to be nearly as bad as this. So we'll see a lot closer times, but they should just change that where it's a little bit more easy to understand when to spawn crystals or make them spawn. The other thing is crafting these right now is a complete waste. You get 2% to capture a pet. Unless you're really lucky, you could probably use 50 and still not catch the pet. And you have to use Malachite, which is going to have more use in the future, kind of like Sunstone, where you use not as much, really, to be honest, because you can see 140 Sunstone, but you use it for the Breath of Glory weapons and some random stuff. So Malachite will have some use case as well, but it's more recent, right, compared to Sunstone, which is a lot older. So don't craft these. These should be buffed to 70%, so instead of 2%, it should be 5%. Then I think it would be worth crafting as well as buying in the shop, because this one, like, I'm not buying this for 2%, dude. It's just not worth it. Maybe for this, you could argue it's worth it, but you might as well add a potion that is 100%, right? Instead of 80%. That would make more sense. Or 100% guaranteed, not just 100%, because that would make it so it's 40% capture rate, which again doesn't help. So talk about the weapons a little bit. The only thing right now that we need is the lock feature, okay? That's it. So let's take a look at maybe this weapon. So I want to be able to lock these two, and then I want to use my magic gauge to roll this. That automatically eliminates cold attack increase, cold damage increase from the pool. And so if I'm gunning for crit damage or attack skill damage, these two are already locked. I don't have to worry about it. And I can just focus on getting crit damage. That way you can perfect weapons, right? Get the best rolls you can and just move on. Again, very lucky with the Escanor Axe. So there's not much better I could ask for, but something here even, I could lock these 3 and roll for the defense percent on the 4th. If they add that for the weapons and the engrave sets, like I want to lock this and then roll the other 2 to get like crit damage, crit chance, normal skill damage. Something for here, I mean, it's Jericho's burst, but like, I would want to lock stats and get all burst efficiency on the bursting sets, right? Same thing here. This is not good, but like this one here, this is basically a perfect example. I would want to lock these two and get attack percent, well, at least lock crit damage, but I think you get the point. Just adding that lock feature would go so far in saving the game. And again, simply how it would work is right here, you would select like a lock icon, you select the lock, you put in the remnant, and it will reroll the other two. Now, these tailor stitching needles and the engrave sets passives, I don't know how I feel about that because they said they're going to add, or they have the master versions of the level, right? So whose quality you want to change, let's do something like this one. It's definitely going to go lower, but just for the video, I'll do it. I've had only one gear piece that has gone to 130, even if I did like 50. So it's going to go down. I'll see if I can get higher. I probably won't, but all right, 121. So you can see it's almost always going to hang around here. So it doesn't make sense to use all the way master stitching needles to keep going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The only time it really makes sense is to have a level 111 piece. You feed this in and then you get higher. So let's say I have this Escanor piece. I'll put this in 115 is pretty low. Watch this get 130. Okay, and I get lower. So this is the frustrating part. You could go to, 125 again. That's still a lot of stitching needles you would have to use. And then, okay, there we go, 125. So now this is pretty good. But then I would have to use a bunch of master stitching needles to get this up to 130, which is, it could be 5, it could be 2 or 3. It's kind of stupid. So I have 1, it could give me from +1 to +3. I would say just make this +3, even if this becomes rarer. It would be a good change, is right now to finish up a unit all the way just takes so much effort if you're not lucky. Like, I would consider my Escanor basically done for the weapons, but like the engraved sets are all pretty bad. You have DOT efficiency here, which is not terrible. I don't have anything good here, and then this is also pretty mediocre. I mean, it's pretty trash. You don't even use attack, so I think they should really focus on revamping the weapons and the engraved set system by 2.0. Because this is probably the most annoying part of the game. Like, even the farming isn't that bad because, like, if you knew your upgrades are guaranteed, right, you could go in, make an enchant, and you can get something good. You knew that, then the farming wouldn't be that bad. But what we've been doing is you go in there, you farm, and, let's say you make a bead, and it's just completely wasted because you didn't get a single thing that you wanted. And if they expect us to keep doing this forever, it's just not going to happen, dude. Like, even the whales are tired. Like I showed you, go to the leaderboard. You can see we're in the same clan. Some of these top players, epic, right? So, like, these guys are re-rolling their gear constantly, and it's just not working out because it's RNG. No matter how good you are, no matter how much money you spend, the only thing that's basically a guaranteed upgrade is going to be your master stitching needles, which I think they took it out. Yeah, I think they took it out, but it was like 20 stitching needles right here. Okay, there. You get 3 of these for $100. Like, that's it. That's the only guaranteed way to get any sort of upgrade on your engraved set. And then again, nothing for the weapons. So another thing I want to talk about is the pets should have a pity/bar that you can fill up using pet potions. So let's say I want to catch this. Where is it? All right, for example, this has the 10% rate with the golden potions, right? If I use 10 potions, then that should just give me this pet with the golden potions. Same thing with like, this is 2%, right? If you use 50 or 100 of those new blue potions, then it should let you catch this. If they introduce that as a change, I think that would be really huge. Everybody's gonna go want to farm pets because, well, even if it doesn't work out early on, it's kind of like a gacha that later it's guaranteed you're gonna get the item or get the pet. So a pity bar would be really nice, but also just change this where I don't even have it because I used them up, but just take that 2% out, put it 5%. That'll make everybody happier. But also, I don't like these events. Let me know if I'm the only one, but I don't like this event where makes me use my keys. I don't want to use my keys. And it's just like, because these guys know that like people are holding on to keys. So this is why they make the events before the update. And so you use your keys on stuff you don't need. And then when the new update comes around, you don't have enough keys to farm everything. So if you want to see a separate video on me talking about this, let me know. But again, I just don't like this event. I think they should take this kind of stuff out. Making engraved sets and upgrading gear and all that, that's fine, I guess. But that one's a no-go for me. And other than that, there's few changes that I would like to see outside of the gear and weapon system being changed. Some pet stuff, just a little bit more on the guaranteed weekly star fragments or daily. So maybe make this 200. I know it's probably asking for a lot, but that is about 5 summons per week. So you're at 1400. That's 5 summons, and then that's like 20 summons a month that just guaranteed off doing nothing. You log in, you get 20 summons, which is not bad. But yeah, fix the pet expedition as well, because I should not be sending out. Where is it? I should not be sending out my pets to do Sapphire, only to turn out that I didn't get all the Sapphire, right? So go to my inventory, you see 15, and I already did the pet expedition for today. But mining, there's still Sapphire on the map, even though I selected all of it. So yeah, would like to see that changed. Outside of that, not many really complaints here. Make this 25, maybe 30, because you get 2 weapons a month, so you're not even going to max out your weapons with this. So 25 to 30 of these would be nice as well. Also these, why would you make this 450? I mean, I get it, you're trying to like guarantee the pity using percentages, but this could have been like 300, 250. I'm not going to craft this, I'm not going to farm this, so if you guys want to, go ahead, but this is like waste of keys. This one is free, you just need some time to go and do it. Already made this one, also basically free. But yeah, like this one I do have, but these two, again, is just so stupid. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the state of the game right now. Just need more weekly content to do. Knighthood stuff is coming, so we'll see what that brings with the guild bosses and rankings and stuff. But yeah, let me know what changes you guys would like to see. And if you haven't seen my account showcase, it's this video here on the left. Go watch it. It's just what my account looks like. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care.